No, it's different. It's just the first.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ed Fredericks.
Come on in.
I'd like to welcome you all here for our flag ceremony today. At this time, I would like to invite the United States Marines here to do their presentation of the flag.
Scouts advance with the flags.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have a round of applause for the United States Marines? This time I'd like to introduce Leader Jeff Catuli and his scouts, and they're going to have a presentation for us. And it's going to be the history of all the flags, all the American flags from the very beginning. Jeff?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for coming to the Flag Day late celebration. We're overwhelmed and very thankful to have all of these wonderful scouts joining us today, and as well as the Marines. our men in blue. And so what we're going to do this afternoon is we have essentially two ceremonies. We're going to have our historical flag ceremony. The Scouts will present their colors, and they will give us a little historical for each of the flags presented here. And then after, we will retire some old flags. Up back, we have a fire burning, and we will retire some old flags, and anyone who would like to participate by introducing a part of a flag that we've cut up to burn, I certainly welcome you all. So at this point, I would like to start with our pine tree flag.
The Pride Flag. From the landing of the Pilgrims in 1620 until 1775, the flag of England was the flag of the peoples of America. In 1775, the Pride Flag was adopted for all colonial vessels, and this was the banner carried by the Continental forces at the Battle of Bunker Hill.
The snake flag. In the latter part of 1775, the Continental Congress appointed a committee to consider the question of a single flag for 13 colonies. John Paul Jones, the senior lieutenant on the flagship Alfred, hoisted this flag to masthead on December 3, 1775, and 1 month later it was raised over the headquarters of General Washington at Cambridge, Massachusetts. The 13 Stripes British Union Flag. In the latter part of 1775, the Continental Congress appointed a committee to consider the question of a single flag for the 13 colonies. This, the first flag of the colonists to have any resemblance to the present Stars and Stripes, was the Grand Union Flag. It was never carried in the field by the Continental Land Forces, but it was used by the Navy and was the first American flag to receive a salute of honor. A salute of 11 guns from the Fort of Orange in the Dutch West Indies.
The 13 Stars Flag. The creation of the first flag is commonly attributed to Philadelphia Quaker upholsterer Betsy Ross. From a rough design, it is said that she suggested the star should have 5 points rather than 6. That starry banner was the first flown at Fort Scollier near Rome, NY, and was under fire 3 days later at the Battle of Oriskany, August 6, 1777. In 1795, with the addition of Vermont and Kentucky, 2 more Stars and Stripes were added. Under 15 Stars and 15 Stripes was fought the War of 1812. The sight of it, flying over Fort McHenry on September 14, 1814, inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem.
15 Stars and 15 Stripes flag. The original 13 Stars and Stripes represented the original 13 colonies. In 1795, with the addition of Vermont and Kentucky, 2 more Stars and Stripes were added. Under 15 Stars and 15 Stripes was fought the War of 1812. The sight of it flying over Fort McHenry on September 14, 1814, inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem. Miss Margaret Young, who cut the stars for that particular banner, subsequently became the mother of Henry Sanderson, the Grand Exalted Ruler for the Order of Elks in 1884.
The 20-star flag. The Congress on April 14, 1818, adopted a resolution that on and after July 4, 1818, the number of stripes should be 13 and that the blue field should carry 1 star for each of the 20 states in the Union, and that a new star should be added for each state thereafter admitted.
The 48-star flag. Since 1912, there has been no change in the flag design except that 28 new stars were added before July 4, 1912, and this flag of 48 stars flew over this nation for 47 years until just before the Vietnam War.
On July 4th, 1959, a star was added for Alaska, our first non-connected state. A year later, Hawaii, our island state, added a 50. Our present flag, 50 stars and 13 stripes. The gentle breezes with lingering caress, the folds of no flag which can compare with it in beauty. There is no such red in budding rose, in falling leaf or sparkling wine. No such white in April blossom, in crescent moon or mountain snow. No such blue in woman's eye, in ocean's depths or heaven's dome. And no such pagan tree in clustering stars and streaming light in all of the spectrum of sea and sky.
POW/MIA flag. On March 9, 1989, this flag, which first flew over the White House on National POW/MIA Recognition Day, was installed in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda as a result of legislation passed overwhelmingly during the 100th Congress. It was officially recognized a year and a half later on August 10, 1990. The POW/MIA flag is the only flag ever displayed in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, where it will still stand as a powerful symbol of the national commitment to America's POW/MIAs until the fullest possible accounting has been achieved for the U.S. personnel still missing and unaccounted for from the Vietnam War.
I am your flag. I was born on July 4th, 1777. I am more than just a cloth shaping to the design. I am refugee for the world's oppressed people. I am the silent sentinel of freedom. I am the emblem of the greatest sovereign nation on earth. I am the inspiration for which American patriots gave their lives and fortune. I have led your loved ones into battle from Valley Forge to Great World Wars, to the steaming, treacherous jungles of Vietnam, and to the hot, foreboding deserts of the Middle East. I walk in silence with each of your honored dead, to their final resting place beneath the silent white crosses, row upon row. I have flown through peace and war, strife and prosperity, and amidst it all, I have been respected. My red stripe symbolizes the blood spilled in defense of this glorious nation. My white stripes signify the burning tears shed by Americans who lost their loved ones. My blue field is indicative of God's heaven under which I fly. My stars cluster together, unifies 50 states as one, for God and country. Old Glory is my nickname, and proudly I wave on high. Honor me, respect me, defend me with your lives and your fortunes. Never let my enemies tear me down from my lofty position, lest I never return. Keep alight the fires of patriotism. Strive earnestly for the spirit of democracy. Worship eternal God and keep his commandments, and I shall remain the bulwark of peace and freedom for all people.
On this day, we celebrate our flags, the history of our flags, and the next stage is the retirement of our flag. So I invite you all to join our scouts outside where we will retire some old, tired flags. And I welcome your participation. Thank you.
At this time, we have a video. This time we have a video of one of our past exalted rulers, Lord Marshall.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. sea to shining sea.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to have Kevin Cobbill come. He's a past exalted ruler also, and he has a little thing about the Pledge of Allegiance. When we were kids, we were taught to memorize this, and the words just come natural. But way back when, Red Skelton had a rendition of this, and it's pretty interesting.
Thank you. And I believe this is the last part of the ceremony. So on January 14th, 1969, Red Skelton touched the hearts of millions of Americans with his Pledge of Allegiance, in which he explained the meaning of each and every word. Red Skelton's recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance was twice read into the Congressional Record of the United States and has received numerous awards. I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge, dedicate all of my worldly goods to give without self-pity. Allegiance, my love and my devotion. To the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there is respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts, freedom is everybody's job. Of the united, that means we have all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 50 great states. 50 individual communities with pride and dignity of purpose, all divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose, and that is love for our country. And to the republic, a state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives, chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people, and it's from the people to the leaders, not the leaders to the people. For which it stands one nation, meaning so blessed by God, indivisible and capable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life, without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation, and justice, the principle of quality of dealing fairly with others, for all Americans. It's as much your country as it is mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. At this time, I would like to recognize the San Jose Fire Department, Company 6, and the Police Department. Thank you so much for coming also. This concludes our ceremony. Please be escorted out and get a piece of the flag so you can be part of the ceremony for the burning. Thank you.
So now to begin the ceremony, I'll introduce Eagle Scout Eric Patulli.
When the United States flag of Old Glory becomes worn, torn, faded, or badly soiled, it is time to replace it with a new flag, and the old flag should be retired, with all the dignity and respect befitting our nation's flag. The traditional method of retirement is to incinerate the flag, but this does not mean that one should simply drop the entire flag intact into a fire. A flag ceases to be a flag when it is cut into pieces. In addition, it is easier to completely incinerate the flag if it is cut into smaller pieces. The U.S. flag is more than just some brightly colored cloth. It is a symbol of our nation. Scout 1.
7 red stripes and 6 white stripes represent 13 original colonies that gained us liberty.
Scout 2.
Red stripes remind us of lifeblood, brave men and women who were ready to die for this and that.
Scout 3.
The white stripes remind us of purity and cleanness of purpose, thought, word, and deed.
Scout 4.
The blue is for truth and justice, like the eternal blue of the star-filled heavens.
The stars represent the 50 sovereign states of our union.
The U.S. flag should be treated with respect when it's flying, and it should be treated with respect when it's being retired. Scout 6.
The American Creed states, "It is my duty to my country to love it, to respect its constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flags, and to defend it against all enemies."
Scout 7.
Therefore, retire the flags with dignity and respect when they become worn, torn, faded, or badly soiled.
This flag is ready to be retired. Its history is as follows.
The flag that we're retiring today was donated to us by one of the members of the Elks. Unfortunately, we don't know its age, where it actually flew, but we do know that it is worn. And today we will put the flag to rest, but know that like our own flesh and blood, we don't forget the flag, whether it's in ashes or flying high. So now I think it's worth telling you a little bit about how we cut the flag, and I'll invite our Eagle Scout, Alan Bates, to the front. So what we do to the flag is we cut up the flag in pieces by first cutting each stripe separate from the blue field. The stripes are cut into smaller pieces, which many of you have. We do not cut the blue field. We keep it intact because we are whole as a nation. And as a nation, we will never be broken. So we will retire the blue field with our 50 stars as a whole. Alan, please introduce the blue field to the fire. Okay, Scouts, please introduce your pieces. Okay, 2 Scouts, come on. Come on. Put your piece into the fire. Thank you. Now everyone, I welcome you to introduce your pieces of flag one at a time into the fire. Remnants that you would like to introduce, please do. We're fortunate that the wind's not blowing into our faces today. This concludes our flag retirement ceremony. Again, I thank you for coming and celebrating the flag with us this afternoon. I think it's also, I'd like to invite all of you, if you're interested in learning more about Scouts, we have a number of Scouts here. You might be interested in learning about their journey in Scouting, how Scouting is impacting their life in a good way. We have Scouts from all ages, from Cub Scout through to retired Eagle Scouts. And so please, if you're curious at all, you may come to me I have a flyer that I can leave you with, or talk to the scouts themselves, see what their journey is, maybe what their Eagle project was, where they're going, what their ambitions are. Thank you again for coming to our Flag Day ceremony.